But now we go to your game, going to Dallas, where the Dallas Cowboys are at home. They are favored by 3.5, hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Where's your head at, John?
I want to hear your
Okay.
pick
Okay.
first.
I picked the 49ers to cover, and if I had to pick a team to win, I'm going with San Francisco. They're kind of on a roll. They've kind of been in playoff mode the past few weeks, just fighting to survive. And I think, so starting with their offense, the one thing that scares me is if the game lies on Jimmy Garoppolo's arm way too much. And I think that's the key for Dallas' defense to win is I would just, Dan Quinn, you got to find ways to stop the run. It's also very interesting too. Dan Quinn, Kyle Shanahan go back to their Atlanta days. He also kind of threw Kyle under the bus a little bit. So that's also a very unsaid, interesting headline there. But yeah, I think Dallas can be ran on a little bit, and especially with San Francisco getting Trent Williams back. Elijah Mitchell's been doing really well recently, and same thing. They still incorporate Debo. But yeah, as long as Jimmy, the game doesn't lie in Jimmy G's hands, I'm comfortable with the 49ers offense having their way with Dallas defense. And then on the flip side, though, I know Dallas scored 50 points against Philly, and they could against this secondary as well. But obviously, this is their start. San Francisco would
Yeah,
play their
that was
starters.
backups.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the run game hasn't been effective for y'all, and I just think, especially with Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, those guys, they're going to be able to peel their ears back, kind of go after Dak and the gang. And Niners do have good coverage linebackers. So I think I'm just basically saying I have concerns about Dallas's offense. Just hasn't been consistent. And I know once again someone's going to say like, oh, the Eagles game, but like we mentioned, they played the second string guys. Like Eagles, weren't really. So yeah, it's a very tough game though. I could easily see Dallas winning just because Dak makes a few plays. Oh yeah, the pass rush got there, but Dak escaped and was able to pick apart the secondary of the Niners. That scares me. But I'm gonna go with the 49ers on this one. But wouldn't shock me if Dallas won. But I think Niners win and they cover for me. But go ahead. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I know far too much about this matchup, and I've read too many articles about the scheme and everything that's going on in this one. So I'm riding a wild wave of emotions because like everything you read, either as a Cowboys fan, like I already know the stuff that we're good at, but I'm looking at all the Niners stuff, and I get more worried and worried every time I read something. So initially, I took the Niners here, but I figured, you know what? If I'm going to go out on my sword, I'm going to take my team. I'm going to back. I'm going to be confident that we can do this, because I do think we have some reasons to be confident going into this one. First off, like you said, the 49ers secondary to me is just not very good. I think every single Cowboys receiver has a positive matchup there. Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Cedric Wilson. I think all of them can beat their guys one-on-one. The way that they're going to probably try to play defense is they're going to probably try to start out looking like it's, pre-snap. It's going to look like there's only one safety deep. And then they're going to do what a lot of teams started to do since that Denver game and swap to two safeties deep, because that's just Dak to me so far this year has been one of the best quarterbacks before the snap. But once the disguise happens, things get a little iffy sometimes. So I think he's going to have watched film. There's a few different times that Arizona specifically did that to them, and I think on those plays he went 5 of 14, and so that's just not very good. So I think he's going to be aware of it, and he's going to attack them. Also, the 49ers, out of necessity, have to run zone. They are the worst team in the league when they run man, when it comes to defensive success rate, and so I don't think they're going to be running any man, and so that means zone. I mean, Dak, I don't know the stats specifically on him versus man and zone, but yeah, I don't know. I just think if that's what they're going to be forced to do pretty much the entire game, I believe at some point they got to figure it out. The run game does worry me because, like you said, they really just can't run the ball very well. As much as I love Zeke, I'm hoping we get a good dose of Tony Pollard in this one, because I think his speed can be a game changer, just because if there's a hole there, maybe he can break off something long. So there's that side of the ball. On the other side, I really do worry about the Cowboys defense when it comes to stopping the run in this game, not just because of, the run and all that stuff. The Niners are good at it. The Cowboys haven't, really faced a ton of true tests. But the way that the Niners challenge you specifically through the scheme is they force everybody on the defense, including your corners, to play sound run defense. Trayvon Diggs does not like to play run defense, and neither does Anthony Brown. And we don't have like the biggest defensive tackles, like there's some different stuff. Now, what the Niners did last week against the Rams, I don't expect them to do anything close to that against the Cowboys, because what they did against the Rams is to avoid Aaron Donald. Cowboys do not have a presence like that up the middle that can, force you to avoid them. So I do expect them to attack them straight up the middle a lot more. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on Leighton Vander Esch, Keanu Neal, and Micah Parsons. They just have to be ready, and they have to make plays. And they can't get caught doing the stuff where you keep moving back and forth, because that's how the Niners beat you on play action on third down. So on that side of the ball, the key there to me is the Cowboys have to win first and second down, because if you let Jimmy G get in third and short, that's where he can thrive, because he doesn't have to do anything deep. He doesn't have to, sit there and make reads for a longer amount of time as the receivers take more time to get open. It's just quick, short stuff, and that's where the Niners can kill you. So initially I went with the Niners, but the reason I took the Cowboys, like I said at the beginning, is I truly believe that at some point the Cowboys are going to force a turnover on Jimmy Garoppolo, and I would not be shocked if that turns into a touchdown. Jimmy G on the year, I think, amongst the 32 starting quarterbacks, is the second worst when it comes to turnover-worthy plays during the games that he plays. I think it's like per game. So he puts the ball in harm's way, and he's not very good at throwing deep. Obviously, with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, you have guys who can make plays after the catch. And so I don't expect them to necessarily try the Cowboys very deep very often. But I think if there's some point where that happens, the Cowboys and the way that they have been pouncing on teams and forcing turnovers against Jimmy Garoppolo, they're going to make one happen, at least one. Wouldn't be shocked if there's more. And if Jimmy G starts throwing turnovers, that's when his numbers start to just dip drastically, because he's very reliant on confidence. So my pick here is entirely based on the fact that I think they can force turnovers. If they can't, if Jimmy G does not have a single turnover in this game, I do immensely worry about the Cowboys' ability to win this one. So I'm going to take the Cowboys. I'm going to ride with my guys. But even just based on the way the spread is, this is the closest margin for all of the spreads. So you can tell this is probably the toughest game to pick.
Also, I want to throw in, I'm not sure what the props are for this, but I would not be surprised we see some sprinkling in of Trey Lance option, maybe a deep shot or two. Just saying. Just because, like you mentioned, Jimmy G, not a great outside the numbers thrower. I think when Trey Lance did play a couple weeks ago, he's actually able to hit those, as we all know, with his rocket arm. So I'm just saying, I wonder what I would just like to know the props, because I feel like he's going to be in there at least 3 or 4 plays, because it's the playoffs. I mean, might as well.
I threw this odds out there way earlier in the season, but if you can find a line out there for Connor McGovern scoring a touchdown, I mean, listen, if there's any week to get real crazy and creative, it's this week with Connor McGovern at fullback, and maybe you toss him one. I don't know. Anyway, I'm riding with the Cowboys, but ultimately both front sevens to me are going to determine this game.
Yeah, that will be a fun one to watch. Actually, have my friends coming over for that one.